Yo, 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 what is up, stock compounders? All right, we got 15 people here already. So the way I want to open this, I haven't done this before, in my punch card live stream, right? Sometimes we chat before and after, and I found out Quran drinks camel milk, okay? So it got me curious. We have quite an international crowd here. I'm curious, what is the last thing you guys ate or drank, okay? Or what is the last meal you had? I'm very curious what people are eating around the world. And we've got a number of questions already in the live chat. Unfortunately, I think it got cut off because this first question I'm reading isn't the one I saw this morning. So that's too bad, but we'll dive in anyway. So first one I see here, looks like Mohnish mentioned racist many times. Yes, Mohnish has a man crush on racists. That's quite clear at this point. He said there's still a potential of 3 to 4x in it. Yeah, he mentioned that in his talk that just came out today over in England. He did a Q&A session, Oxford. He said there's still a potential of 3 to 4x in it. We got in late. Yeah, but you know, I think one of the bigger mistakes I make as an investor is to think I missed the boat, okay? If the price runs up, to think it's too late, I missed it, rather than, you know, what is the business worth today, okay? Rather than anchoring on what the price used to be, what is the business worth today compared to what is the price today? And you know, with these great businesses, you look at the price chart and it tends to go up asymptotically, right? It's exponential growth. But the great businesses, they're able to grow, you know, the business fundamentals, right? The business prospects exponentially as well. So don't get too caught up, I would say, in seeing a price spike recently and thinking, I missed the boat on that one. Do the work, right? Figure out what it's worth today, and maybe it's still a good investment. Did you get any intel about his new positions in Turkey? I have not. I got one tweet, you know, from somebody. It wasn't a tweet, it was a DM on Twitter, suggesting there was a life insurance and pension company in Turkey that they think Mohnish Pabrai bought into. I think they saw, you know, Dalal Street or something in maybe a Bloomberg covering Turkey. But yeah, I wasn't able to verify that information. So still on the hunt for what Pabrai is buying in Turkey other than racists. If I'm ever in Seattle, let me know. Okay. In the process of creating a Twitter account. Good. Yeah, I was in Seattle. Probably the last time I was in Seattle was like 17 years ago. So I don't make it up there very often, but it is a beautiful city. Have you ever read any analysis reports of Shinnikin Group during free Sum0 4-day membership? Yeah, there is one in there. I think it's the same guy who wrote up the Value Investors Club write-up for Shinnikin and did the MOI presentation for Shinnikin. I realize most of you probably don't have access to that MOI presentation, but you can check out the Value Investors Club write-up on Shinnikin. I think it's you know, there's a lot of overlap between what's in that VIC write-up and what was in the Sum0 analysis for Shinnikin. Walmart Brad here, since the real one is late. I was late. I apologize for that, everyone. Could you please explain why depreciation is positive for free cash flow? Thank you. So I'm going to create a video around free cash flow. It's something I've been thinking a lot about lately. It's one of the core metrics that's used by Terry Smith for Fundsmith, you know, Jeff Bezos. And I think Nick Sleep as well. Well, Jeff Bezos, I know for sure anyway, the metric that he thought was most important for tracking the growth of Amazon was free cash flow per share. So definitely worth diving into free cash flow. So I'll probably touch on that in an upcoming video, Benjamin. Thanks for asking. What else we got here? Have you ever wrote up an idea and tried to apply for the VIC membership? So I have not ever submitted an idea to VIC. It's something I'd like to do. So, hopefully I find a great idea in the near future, digging through the 13 Fs of investors that I follow. I don't know if you guys saw my tweet. I think it was like 5 days ago, maybe a week ago, where some member of Value Investors Club took a screenshot of the most submitted ideas to VIC in like the last 250 days. That was pretty interesting to see. Facebook was up there. I think Discovery was up there, Alibaba. So that was a cool metric. I didn't even know that it was possible to see that. But I think it's only, full-time members of VIC or members who have gotten in by submitting investment theses that were accepted. So I don't think we can see that as members that have to look on with the 45-day lag time. Let's see. How do we know if it's too late to get racist? Well, you've got to do the work. You've got to understand, what do you think the business is worth? Okay. What is it worth today? If that's how you want to buy, you want to have a margin of safety today. If you want to value it, what do you think it's worth in 5 or 10 years? Is it a reasonable price today? Is it a compelling price today? So Pabrai still seems to think it's a 4-bagger, at least, on the path to getting to current liquidation value. Obviously, he also thinks the business is going to compound over time, what the business is actually worth. So that intrinsic value is a moving target as well in the upward direction. So the only way if it's too late is to do the work and figure out what it's worth. Pravesh, Brad probably on Bambino duty. Yeah, I wasn't. It's just been busy. It's been a busy day, and time got away from me a little bit this morning. So apologize for that. Len, when we see on ticker, Mohnish sold his position, we are shameless cloners. He's selling Rain Industries. He's mentioned in a couple talks recently that Rain is not a long-term compounder, at least in the eyes of Mohnish Pabrai. It's one of the first positions he's going to be selling in order to buy new compelling opportunities, right? These spawners that he talks so much about recently. We can already see in ticker terminal that he's cut back Rain significantly. I think like 70% or so he's sold out of Rain. And Schumann, butter, chicken, romali, roti, and Pepsi. That sounds fantastic. And Schumann, wow. I love roti. And what's my favorite? My favorite Indian dish, at least, I get it from these Indian restaurants in the U.S., which I'm sure do not do justice to Indian cuisine. Malai kofta is one of my favorite dishes. And of course, chicken tikka masala is always fantastic. So, but that sounds good. Butter chicken romali. I can't eat it now because I'm on this vegetarian cleanse. I think it's the last day of the pure vegan section of the cleanse. So tomorrow I can start to have meat and things like that. I'm looking forward to having some yummy salmon. Yeah. Pepsi, no thank you. But all that other stuff looks pretty good. Pravesh, edamame pasta with vegan pesto. Ooh, Pravesh, what's in your vegan pesto? I'm curious. I've used nutritional yeast in pesto before. I find that's a pretty good vegan substitute for cheese. But I'm curious, Pravesh, what's in your vegan pesto? Probably the best pesto I ever made wasn't with pine nuts. It was with walnuts. Okay. Walnuts, garlic, olive oil, nutritional yeast, and salt. And basil, of course. Phenomenal pesto. Luis, Doritos and Kirkland water. Well done, Luis. Well done. You're following in the footsteps of your role models, Buffett and Munger, on the what I would consider junk food. But Kirkland water, you got to support Costco, right? Got to support Costco. Sauerkraut, just German stuff. Awesome. Len, are you eating straight sauerkraut? Because that's a special situation right there, if I've ever seen one. Dwayne, did you have a chance to look at the SRG Q3 earnings report? Any thoughts? Yeah, I glanced at the Q3 earnings report. I didn't go too heavy into it. It didn't look like there was too much noteworthy in there. Nothing that changes, how I feel about SRG, either to the upside or to the downside. So, I don't really have anything to report from there. That's kind of what I expect from SRG. Ooh, a super chat. Let's see if we got anything here from Jeremy. What's up, Brad? Poland is transitioning to developed status. Okay, so from developing country to developed country. And the Warsaw Exchange itself looks like a wonderful company with virtual monopoly in Central Eastern Europe. Any thoughts or insights on the Warsaw Exchange? That's interesting. I've never looked at an exchange as an investment opportunity. So let me just look at it in ticker real quick, if I can find it. Oh, what's the ticker for the Warsaw Exchange? I have no idea. Yeah, obviously an exchange. I mean, a monopoly for sure, right? I love that aspect of it. I'm going to dig into this a bit, Jeremy, offline probably. So send me the ticker. Send me why you think it's a great investment opportunity. GPW. So let's see, GPW. Right, it's in Polish, so I wouldn't have been able to search that. Capital Markets operates a stock exchange in Poland and internationally. Operates through 3 segments. Okay. Founded in 1991. What is the market cap of the Warsaw Stock Exchange? $470 million US dollars. So I like that. It's nice and small. Let me see if I can see how it's been growing. And I wish I could share my screen, guys. I'm sorry I can't. I think I'm going to subscribe to, what is that live stream service that I've used so many times? I can't think of the name, but revenues, sort of a steady slog over the last 10 years. Hasn't even doubled over the last 10 years. So that's a little bit of a concern right off the bat, looking at that top line growth. And it's not like it's been accelerating recently either. It's sort of a steady climb. So, yeah, I'll take a look at it, Jeremy. Why don't you send me your highlights from it, and I can kind of use that as a jumping point. But appreciate the super chat, Jeremy. Much appreciated. What's up? Greetings from Iceland. What was your last meal there in Iceland? Let us know in the live chat. Dwayne, any more thoughts on Constellation Software and Topicus? You mentioned it before. I think they're both high quality, but not cheap. Yeah, definitely not cheap. I mean, the markets know that these are great companies. at least Constellation Software. So Topicus right now is trading at, like 11 times revenue. I'm curious what Constellation is trading at in terms of revenue multiple. 7 times. So obviously Topicus, there's a lot of growth kind of built into the current price with Topicus. It's compelling. It's not really I'd have to do a lot of work on Topicus to feel like I really understand that business. Part of that is because it operates over in Europe, right? So it's not a market that I'm even familiar with. And I haven't done a lot of work even on Constellation Software, obviously one of the great compounders of our time. So yeah, I do want to do some work on both of those. There's a great write-up on Topicus from the 11th Man. So if you just search the 11th Man Topicus, I think that's probably the best treatment of Topicus that I've seen. But obviously, we're still very early with Topicus, right? I mean, I think the company just formed this year. It was spun off from Constellation Software this year. So, I'm more taking kind of a Terry Smith approach when it comes to Topicus. I want to see that they have a winning formula, right, for that European market before I get on board with them. And may I miss out on a lot of upside by doing that? Absolutely. But with a company like Topicus, I'm happy to trade that uncertainty. I'm happy to trade certainty for a little less upside. Okay, that's sort of my approach with that one. But yeah, it seems like, who is it? 10-bagger author Chris Meyer owns Topicus. Looks like Chuck Acre's fund bought into Topicus. So there's some solid investors getting involved already with that one. But as the 13Fs kind of roll out, actually Topicus trades, I think in Vancouver, so we're not going to see that in 13Fs. But hopefully in Ticker Terminal, we can see more and more where the investors are getting in when it comes to Topicus. Edward, the lights are on. We are in business. Yes, the lights are on. I ate Lily Dal and turkey breast slices from Costco with American flatbread. Okay. We got a lot of Costco supporters here, guys. That's good to see. A lot of Nick Sleep fans. Let's see what else we got. Ann Schumann, maybe a new video on accounting basics. Okay. Video on accounting basics request from Ann Schumann. Obviously, the language of entrepreneurship, right? Accounting, very important. And hey, were you surprised? Fundsmith is buying up Amazon shares, even though in the past he's talked about how Amazon is a bad business with 0.1% margins, where one business is subsidizing the other, AWS, right? So AWS, kind of what Terry Smith sees as the great business within Amazon, basically funding, this retail business that has very low margins. And Terry Smith even went through the exercise of saying that, I could run a business like Amazon, at least the retail end of Amazon, where, they charge $5 for a pack of Band-Aids. They deliver it free next day, effectively eating like a $10 cost or something to deliver that package of Band-Aids the next day. They're losing money on Prime. But, Bezos is a visionary, right? He understands, okay, I can lose money in the short term, right? But I'm going to build this incredible flywheel where as we grow, we can cut costs and we can deliver those cost savings to our customers. Having that low cost, low cost advantage, right? Low cost producer. So, it's a very difficult business model to make work. And the odds were so stacked against Jeff Bezos and that team at Amazon. You hear Buffett, you hear Munger talk about just how impressed they've been with what Bezos has been able to do with Amazon. So, I saw a tweet, I think it was from, what's his name? Jeremy Raper. He was talking about how so many people study Amazon, right? It's almost like they're looking for patterns in the financials of Amazon to try to find the next Amazon. And Jeremy, I think he's right. What he said was, Amazon is a unicorn, okay? The odds were so against the success of Amazon. So to try to look for patterns within Amazon, to try to find the next great business, it's probably not a worthwhile exercise to study these incredibly unique, home runs. I'm sure there's lessons we can tease out of great businesses like that, but I don't think you can just look at some quantitative, metrics for Amazon and try to screen for similar quantitative metrics. I just don't think that's going to yield results. So, but back to the question, Ann Schumann, that was quite a divergence. I was surprised to see Terry Smith buy into Amazon because, he didn't seem interested before. I think it was even in the 2021 annual meeting, right? It's on YouTube, that he said, I'm not interested in the retail side of Amazon. If they spin off AWS, I am very interested in that aspect of the business. So I was surprised to see him buying in. We got another super chat. Let me click on that one. Old school millennial. Old school has been with me for a long time. See if we got a question from old school. Nope, just giving me love. Appreciate that, old school. Appreciate it very much. Let's see. Okay, where was I? So Ann Schumann made the same point I did. He said if they ever spin off AWS, he'll consider buying it. Len, no, I have seen that too, and I've not submitted an investment thesis. There you go. Well, let's both do it, Len. Let's get our investment theses out there. QE, which stock will 10x or 5x? Yes, that's really what I want to know too, guys. Okay. So in the comments, in the live chat, I'm still curious what your guys' last meal was. We have an international crowd here. I'm often surprised, and it's fun to see what you guys are eating. But also, what stock do you think is going to 10x? Right? Let's just throw out some names here. I'll add a caveat. Okay, I don't want it to be like a lottery ticket 10x. All right, where you're betting today it's going to 10x, and the odds are that it's going to go to 0. Okay, that's not what I'm looking for. I want, all right, this thing is going to 10x maybe half the time. Maybe 20% of the time. The other half the time, the other 80% of the time, it's not going to drop. Okay, it's not going to go to 0. Okay, my downside is protected. I want a 10x where my downside is protected. That's a lot different from a 10x where you're gambling on this thing, right? We got a couple super chats here, guys. This is fun. From Vinay, any concern about SRG paying dividends despite burning through cash? They're paying preferred dividends, right? I think they pretty much have to pay preferred dividends to be classified as a REIT. I don't think SRG is going to pay dividends anytime soon. I hope they don't. I presume they're just going to pay as little in dividends as possible, as they have to, right? In a regulatory sense. So I'm not worried about that. Clearly, they need to put as much money as they can come up with into these reinvestment projects, right? Because that's where the cash flows are. They're kind of a little bit down the road, and I want to see them being as kind of financially tight, as financially prudent as possible in the meanwhile until those projects are up and running. So I don't think they're going to be irresponsible when it comes to paying out dividends. Thanks for that question, Vinay. Pravesh, did you have a question, Pravesh? I can't see it there. Let me just scroll down. Nope, Pravesh just giving me love. Appreciate that, buddy. Much, much appreciated. Okay, where am I? Right. Tim, do you still invest in real estate? I mean, I own SRG. I would consider that investing in real estate. Oh, you might be referring to back when I started my YouTube channel. And you guys can easily look at some of my old stuff. It's kind of cringeworthy, but it's also fun to see how far I've come. So back when I started the channel, I was really into real estate investing, okay? I had taken some courses through Rich Dad Education, right? Rich Dad, Poor Dad, the author, Robert Kiyosaki, which I got to give a shout out to his cash flow game. I think, if you guys want to teach your kids or your friends about investing and kind of investment mindset, play the cash flow game. It's a fantastic, Robert Kiyosaki calls it a simulator. Okay? It's not a game, it's a simulator for really how to see the world through the eyes of an investor. But no, I think I only did one deal. I did a wholesale deal after doing that training with Rich Dad, Poor Dad. I made like 10 grand on a wholesale deal. I spent more than that, okay, on the training. And, I realized real estate just really wasn't a fit for my temperament, right? Not a fit for my personality. I'm quite an introvert. Some of you guys might be surprised about that since I'm, putting my mug out here every day, every other day on YouTube. This is fun. It charges me up, right? Most introverts might not get charged up from interacting with people like this. But I am definitely an introvert, and real estate, I think it's very difficult to do well in real estate if you're an introvert, right? If you don't want to be out there meeting people and networking and that kind of thing. And that just wasn't for me. I would rather analyze businesses, right? On my own, by myself, and go about it that way. And that's how Mohnish Pabrai is wired as well. And we're both engineers, right? So I thought that was interesting when I found that out. Let's see. So no real estate investments other than in the stock portfolio. Ryan, homemade broccoli cheese soup. Nice. Made by his wife. Nice one. Yeah, broccoli cheese soup sounds pretty yummy. I would probably insist on having a nice sourdough loaf covered with butter to go with that homemade broccoli cheese soup. But Marco, what do you think about Universal Music Group, moat, and business model? So I have not done a dive on Universal Music Group. I think part of that is it's just so much in the limelight right now. Having Pershing Square involved. Pabrai said something I really appreciated recently. He said, as an investor, don't buy what is being sold to you, okay? That includes companies that have just IPO'd, companies that are hot, right? Companies that are, getting a lot of media attention because of, SPAC deals, like what was happening with Pershing Square and Universal Music Group. Don't buy what is being sold. Buy what is being discarded. Okay. I really, that is so concise and so smart. Really appreciate that. So I haven't looked at UMG, so I can't speak to that, Marco. Sorry about that. Pravesh, basil, lemon juice, arugula, olive oil, walnut, salt, pepper, nutritional yeast flakes. Sounds fantastic. That's Pravesh's pesto recipe right there. We don't have the proportions, but this is good enough for a shameless cloner to enjoy what Pravesh is enjoying, I think. Walnuts, see that? Walnuts. We've got another walnut fan in the pesto. Len, no, it's been sauerkraut with, but I don't know the English word for Kassler. Is that sausage, Len? Let us know. I assume it's something like sauerkraut and sausage, which fantastic combination. Let's see, Sebastian, good evening. Good evening, Sebastian. It is afternoon here, but I can't remember, Sebastian. Are you like Quebec or something? Got to watch tomorrow. It's late here. Any thoughts on Overstock? Probably not a long time hold, but maybe an interesting short to midterm play. Yeah, let me just check VIC real quick on Overstock. So I don't really do the short or midterm plays. I mean, I have a couple in my portfolio right now. According to Value Investors Club, the last write-up that was that shows up on VIC about a year ago, a short for Overstock. Okay, structurally challenged e-com retailer. I guess it was at an insane valuation last September 2020. I don't know what it's at now. But yeah, I don't really spend time on the short to midterm. I bought Micron and SRG. I would say that those are kind of midterm holdings. But I bought those really before I had this long-term investing framework, before I had this, invest like a business owner framework, which resonates much more with my personality, with my temperament. So for that reason, I'm not interested in Overstock. But if anyone else here has gotten into Overstock or is researching it, I love when you guys interact with each other in the chat. There's so much more value than just what I can bring to this community. So it's fun when you guys share value with each other. Fernando, love your content. I know you were a bit invested into crypto. Have you checked Ecomi, ECOMI, a digital collectibles company, NFTs? They have partnerships with a lot of brands, including Disney. Yeah, so here's the deal with crypto. A couple of years ago, right after the big spike, when Bitcoin went up to around 20,000, I put like $5,000 into a couple different cryptos, and I decided, hey, I'm just going to let this sit for 10 years. Okay, not touching it for 10 years. And it was money I was comfortable losing. Okay. But where I'm at now with crypto, so I really like Tim Ferriss's recent podcast with Naval and Chris Dixon. I am not looking for investments in the crypto space. I have a really hard time when people say I'm investing in this crypto, because for me, investing means I have a sense for where this thing is going to be in 10 years. And that allows me to protect my downside. Okay. I don't see much downside protection in crypto land right now. I think it's a lot of lottery tickets. Where my mind is with crypto, I want to understand where things are headed. Okay. And I think crypto, the current developments in crypto can tell us a lot about where things are headed. And I think as investors, we need to be continuous learning machines, right? In order to protect our downsides. And Guy Spear said something, I think it was last year, he talked a little bit about Bitcoin. He doesn't own any Bitcoin. He's not interested in buying Bitcoin. But where he's at is he's come to realize somebody's probably working on something right now. It may be a crypto project that could basically blow up everything he knows today. All right. He's a big stake in MasterCard. I don't know if he owns Visa as well. But some of these legacy, incredible businesses, right? They have these incredible moats. They're still susceptible to a completely new technology that comes in and makes them obsolete. All right. And I think there's going to be some very rapid change in a lot of industries as a result of blockchain. So it's something I want to educate myself on, not for investment purposes, but because it's a really interesting space. I mean, there's obviously a lot of noise in the space, but it's not that hard to track down who are the great thinkers, who are the great minds in the space, and just learn from them. So that's kind of where I'm at there. Thanks for that question, Fernando. And Shuman, Mohnish holds Indian Energy Exchange, yes, in his Indian fund, and talked about how it's a monopoly in the energy business in India with a huge upside. Yeah, he seems very bullish. I think he said he met with like 100 or so companies in India. And out of all 100 companies, he was most impressed by IEX, by the management team at Indian Energy Exchange. He also said he wouldn't buy it at current prices, but he sold a lot of IEX in order to buy Seritage Growth Properties last year when things came crashing down, right back in March of 2020. And he's kicking himself for doing that. Because Seritage is like a double since he bought so far. I think IEX is up like 4x since March 2020. So it's a business I would look into if I could invest in Indian companies. I don't know right now how to access Indian markets. So I just don't spend any time there at the moment. But yeah, I would look at what Mohnish Pabrai owns. If I were investing in India, I would also look at what Fundsmith. It's Fundsmith Emerging Equities Trust. They are most bullish out of all the emerging markets on India. So I would look to see what they hold in India if I were looking to invest there. Ryan, I was cracking up today when I watched Mohnish say, "Good job, Mohnish." Yeah, Mohnish. He loves patting himself on the back. I crack up when he does that too. It's hilarious. And go on to pat himself. Yeah, he is a jokester. Mohnish strikes me as a guy he's very happy with his life. Okay. He's figured out how to structure his life in a way where he looks forward to getting up, to getting out of bed every day. And, hats off to anyone who can really figure out how to do that, who can crack that code for themselves. He deserves it. He deserves those pats on the back. Yeah, in regard to Racist, yeah, that's what he was patting himself on the back for. I think he was mentioning, he bought Racist at a 20 million market cap. He was able to buy like a third of the business. And now he thinks it's worth, the liquidation value is around 800 million. Okay. So that's, pretty impressive, a very impressive find for Pabrai if that all plays out. Edward, check the 10th man, right, 11th, I said 11th man, I think, 10th man blog on Constellation Software and Topicus. Write-ups are awesome. That is absolutely true. What up, SC? Long-time buddy on here, SC. What's up? Vinay, any concerns about SRG paying dividends? Right, I tackled that, Vinay. Thanks again for that super chat. SC, when are you going to join the shitco train? SC, I'm probably not going to join the shitco train. It is compelling watching people like Mike Mitchell get into it, like Bill Brewster. It seems like a fun club. Seems like a fun gang to be a part of right now. I don't know. The buying, the long-term owning of great businesses just speaks to me more. Hunting for those. Maybe that's not completely incompatible with the whole shitco concept. I haven't fully wrapped my head around shitco. If any of you want to provide a concise definition for what shitcos are, let me know in the live stream here in the live chat. Yeah, who knows? I may find myself slipping more and more onto the shitco train. We'll see what happens. Beige, the Tencent analysis that Mohnish updated yesterday is more sexy than the whole crew of Victoria's Secret's models. Agree? I agree. It was phenomenal. So simple, right? And, the work that he did, right? So Pabrai, he reads what I think he said he read like the last 20 years of annual reports for Tencent. Okay. And he's like, I can't get a handle on this business. Reading 20 years of annual reports, all they're telling me, he's like, last year, right, the monthly or the daily active users went from this and now it's this. So the growth was this. And that's about all they're giving us, right? They're giving us only information that we could see in the financials, right? Nothing above and beyond that. So then he decides, well, okay, so I'm not getting anything from the Tencent management team. Koos Becker, who's owned Tencent through Naspers for 2 decades, right, since 2001, for that same time period where Mohnish Pabrai read, the Tencent annual reports. So he goes and he looks through the Naspers annual reports. And I guess there's a lot, and I want to look into this personally. I guess there's a lot in there about, this CEO of Tencent, what Koos Becker thinks of the management team of Tencent. So that's really how Pabrai was able to dissect Tencent's business model, what they're doing that's so compelling, that's allowed them to compound so incredibly for a couple decades now. And, he referenced this in relation to Nick and Zach of Nomad Investment Partnerships and how they would spend most of their time reading annual reports. And so for Pabrai, this didn't quite align, right? And there's more to it. I don't want to go too deeply into it because I'm going to be doing a summary video of Pabrai's talk at Boston College, which is really going to get into the weeds on this. But yeah, Tencent. I mean, I love how he broke down what's going on over there. So keep an eye out, guys, for my video on, the highlights from Pabrai's talk, not just at Boston College, because today he dropped another one. I wish he wouldn't do this where he drops like 2 back-to-back, because it's nice to be able to digest these a little bit and have a little space between them, right? It's a little time to get excited about the next one, but it is what it is. But yes, very sexy breakdown, Jeremy from Belgium. I agree. Let's see, Len, can you explain that monopoly position of Warsaw Exchange? Yep. There is plenty other bigger stock exchanges. Yeah, so I don't necessarily see that as a plus, Len, right? I mean, the smaller, potentially there's more room for growth, right? So I like small, but I'm unreasonable. I want to see small where I have a high degree of conviction, right? I want small where I see that other great investors are buying in. So it can't be too small. The cutoff for that is probably somewhere around 250 million, where, above 250 million, there's still great investors who can get into it. It's not too small for them. So I can still get some of that bowling with bumpers juice, right? That shameless cloner boost to the portfolio that I really like. Just the comfort, right? That shameless cloning really provides a whole other layer of comfort than going out into the Wild West, right? The universe of 50,000 public companies. I want that filter. I want companies that have been pre-selected, where great investors have already plunked money down on those opportunities. Topicus, you need to check the preferred shares, not as early as it might seem. The market cap will go up next year as CSU's preferred shares get converted to equity. Okay. Tony had the feeling Mohnish was wrong in the numbers today. He mentioned racist is about 23 cents on the dollar. I revised the numbers and it seems more like 13 cents on the dollar. 130 million market cap, 1 billion in value. Yeah, so I think he was also factoring in for currency depreciation. But you're right. If you're looking at market cap in US dollars to current liquidation value in US dollars, yeah, I'm not fully sure on the math. The way he was speaking about it, it was a 10x in Turkish lira. It was a 6x in US dollars. Okay. So that 4 cents originally became 24 cents, right? So now it's 24 cents on the dollar. That's kind of how he was framing the math. Retro could be the difference in lira USD valuations. Yeah. So that's what I was speaking to as well. Jeremy, GPW may be overlooked. Polish GDP fastest growing in European Union. And Poles seem uninterested in their own market, too focused on home ownership, perhaps early. Yeah, so that reminds me of Turkey, where it's not that Turks are uninterested in their own stock market. They treat it like a casino, okay? They want to buy something in the morning that's going to double by noon, okay? That's how Pabrai frames the Turkish stock market anyway. So perhaps in Poland, people just aren't interested in investing in public companies, right? They're looking, they've swallowed the pill of, all right, I'm going to build wealth by, investing in real estate, maybe owning my home, maybe, once I get significant equity in my home, I can pull that equity out through a home equity line of credit, maybe invest in additional real estate and kind of snowball it that way, which is a perfectly fine way to go, right? There's many paths to nirvana here. But yeah, thanks for that insight, Jeremy. It's interesting to just get nuances of different markets from people who live in different countries all around the world. Assad used the magic formula you provided and found an exceptional company in India, but the stock crashed later because of some unethical practices. Your views? Yeah, the magic formula, especially in emerging markets like India, it's not going to filter out fraud, right? It's not going to filter out bad practices from management, which is why Pabrai, when he invests in India, he feels like he needs to go over there, meet with management. He really needs to kick the tires, especially with Turkey, right? I would assume that's even more so with Turkey than with India. But with any of these emerging markets, there's less regulation. So you've got to do more work when it comes to trying to toss out the fraudulent actors. So I haven't thought about this before, but perhaps magic formula in emerging markets, I'd think hard about applying another layer to try to identify, is there a shortcut to trying to pick out potential bad actors here? If you're just investing mechanically, like using a magic formula screener or something like that. But yeah, it's an issue. It's something I haven't thought about before in regards to the magic formula. Another thing you could do is, try to figure out, all right, how do I find what companies, great investors are buying in India, right? What is the Indian equivalent of the 13F? I'm sure there are things like this that exist. And then you could compare that list with a magic formula screener, right? Combine shameless cloning and magic formula. I think that could be a very compelling way to go in an emerging market. Tony, I considered the conversion. Okay. Let's see. You guys are rocking this chat here. Facebook for me. Yep. It's hard to knock Facebook. I mean, I think, in Dataroma, all of the investors that are tracked by Dataroma, Facebook is the most popular stock in Dataroma that's held by these super investors. It's a little misleading because Google has two different share classes. And Berkshire also has two different share classes, so I'm not sure how it shakes out. But I mean, Facebook is up there, right? I talked a little bit about Facebook in the last live stream. There's things that give me pause with regards to Facebook. A big one is I am big on social networks, guys. I am very bullish. You might think we're late in the game on social networks. I think we're early, okay? Even on platforms like YouTube, right, that seem mature, platforms like Twitter that seem mature. I think we're still early in the game on social networks. And I don't really use Facebook. I don't really use Instagram. I use Twitter. I use YouTube. I tried using LinkedIn for a while, but I didn't get much momentum on LinkedIn. I feel like it's kind of stuffy. I didn't really enjoy using it. But YouTube and Twitter, I really enjoy using. So, that gives me a lot of pause around investing in Facebook if I'm not really interested in using the products. And I also see people kind of leaving in droves Facebook's products, right? And they're deleting their Facebook apps. And I don't see a lot of young people getting excited about Facebook. Now, maybe I'm just not in the right niche. I'm certainly not playing in AR and VR, right? Augmented reality and virtual reality, which could be one of the more exciting spaces that Facebook is operating in. So, there's probably a lot I'm missing about Facebook. But again, this is a game where we don't have to swing at every pitch that goes by. And I'm currently not really swinging. I'm not at all swinging at Facebook. Canadian burritos. Jeremy, is that a reference to a food you were eating? What is a Canadian burrito, Jeremy? I'm very curious now. Len, if you want to see that list of the most frequently posted ideas in VIC, you just have to go to VIC and click on apply for an idea. Oh, hey, we got something of a hack here. Not really a hack, but something I didn't know. Thank you. Who is that? That was Len. I'm going to try that right now. Apply for an idea should be right at the top. Instructions, catalyst, helpful hints. Maybe it's under helpful hints. Yeah, there it is. Oh, that is fun. Thank you, Len. That is very fun. I appreciate that. Learn something new today. I should send you a super chat, Len, although I'm not sure how to do that, so I'm not going to. QE 5X at least. Yep, 5X, 5X is compelling. Retro, that's just for the preferred shares, not that important. Assad, tattooed chef could compound 10X. Tattooed chef. What even is tattooed chef? It's a very tantalizing name for a business. Tattooed chef overview in ticker. A plant-based food company produces and sells a portfolio of frozen foods. Supplies plant-based products to retailers in the United States. The company offers ready-to-cook bowls, zucchini sprout. Okay, that could be interesting, actually. I'd be curious, what is their competitive advantage? What is the moat for Tattooed Chef? Because it's probably not the brand. I mean, I've never heard of Tattooed Chef. Maybe a lot of people have. But what is a moat? What is the moat with a business like this? I can't see it right off the top here. But Assad, if you see it, let me know what you think the moat is for Tattooed Chef. There's no Tattooed Chef in VIC, which isn't surprising. It's probably a recent IPO. But yeah, interesting. Thanks, Assad. So if anyone has a last second question, I'm going to be wrapping up here very shortly. But hit up a super chat and I will make sure to get to your question. It's just that $ icon down at the bottom of the live chat box. Let me just scroll and see if I see anything I want to tackle while I wait for that. After Dinner Investor is on here. He is. After Dinner Investor, what did you eat today? It's dinner now, probably. If I recall, I think After Dinner Investor is Central or East Oklahoma. Well, I think you're in Oklahoma, ADI. Am I totally butchering that? You probably haven't eaten yet. You guys, I'm used to eating at like 5:30 because I have 2 little kids and they eat at 5:30. So I just end up eating at 5:30. So I guess somehow I think everyone else eats at 5:30 p.m., but that's probably not the case. Old School asks, have you thought about starting a Discord for your community? I haven't. There is a Discord for Punch Card, so probably a lot of you are in there. I'm not very active in there. I maybe should be more active. I'm very stretched in terms of time with 2 small kids and everything I want to get done each day. But yeah, maybe I would consider starting something like a Discord. Thanks for planting that seed, Old School Millennial. Let's see. I like the merch. I'll have to get my wife a t-shirt for me as a holiday present. Yeah, so I've got some merch. Check out the merch, everyone. You can find that on my YouTube channel. There's a tab. I think it just says store or something like that. Anything else? Oh, Sven Carlin apparently has a video out on Tattooed Chef. Edward says he wouldn't touch it. That's interesting. I'm guessing Sven hasn't touched it either. He's probably, he probably saw a lot of interest in it and decided to drive some traffic. Yeah, so I think that's all I've got for today, everyone. Thanks for being here. This is getting more and more lively every week with more and more of you engaging in the live chat. It's super fun for me. So appreciate that, everyone. Also, the Investing with Tom and I and about 18 other YouTubers, right, are involved with Movember. Okay, it's a fundraiser to raise money for men's health. So check out Movember. I will leave a link down in the bottom of this video. You can donate. You can find out more about it. But I shaved on the 1st. I haven't shaved. When is the last time I shaved with a razor? It was probably, you guys, it might have been like 10 years ago. Okay. But it was so weird feeling like this smooth face. But throughout the course of the month, you guys are going to see a stash on me. Okay, I'm going to grow a stash. It is not going to look good. Okay, I'm going to look like kind of a third-rate porn star, I think, with my stash. That's probably giving me way too much credit. I'm speaking more about the stash, right? Not my dashing good looks or anything like that. But it'll be interesting to see how that stash unfolds. Interesting is probably the wrong word. Horrifying. So, you know, for any of you who are a glutton for punishment, stay tuned for that. And with that, I will leave you all until the next video. Thanks for being here. See you soon. Bye now.